Alright, so here's a brief video on using Leukotape for blister prevention. Hiking around, running around when you're doing more miles, you get any hot spots, you get any irritation, best thing to do, just stop and take care of it right then. There are times, of course, you're in a groove, you just keep going and the blister gets worse, and maybe you're hiking with somebody else. You don't want to hold them up, you don't want to slow them up, and then you end up with bad blisters. The best policy, though, once that soreness sets in, once you get that hot spot, just stop. Any little grains of sand, any sticks, any pebbles in your shoes and your socks, take care of them. And if need be, if you see any redness or feel the irritation growing on your foot, this is a good product. Leukotape is a covering you can put over your skin. It's very durable. When it's on, the adhesive is strong. It's going to stay there. It's going to help prevent some blisters. Let me show you. You can buy this online. It comes in a roll. But as I mentioned, this is durable. You're not going to need this much, even on a multi-day trip, even if you're going with a group of several people. This is a lot of Leukotape. This is going to last me probably several years. I actually don't get blisters all that often. It's pretty rare for me. I will use it occasionally on a heel or maybe on a big toe if it seems to be rubbing, just to make sure I don't get blisters, but this will be a couple of years. So there's no need to take this big roll. I suppose it's not so much the weight that I'm concerned about when I'm hiking, so much as the bulk. I mean, as much as I can reduce bulk, it means things fit in my pack a bit better. I can organize a bit better. Maybe I'm tempted to take a little extra gadget or two just for fun, well, such as tripod and camera. Reducing bulk on something like this is very helpful. So, nice, easy way to do it is very few supplies are needed. Scissors, and you need the right paper. This is transfer paper, silicone release paper. I typically just save the paper backing for stamps or a shipping label. This is exactly the paper I'm talking about. What you want is paper that you can cut the Leukotape, put it on, but then if you need to use it, it's going to peel right off, just the way a self-adhesive stamp peels off. So let me show you a bit of that. When I'm doing it, I like to do just several different sizes. If I do put Leukotape on the side of my big toe, it's typically not going to be nearly as big as the one I like to put on my heel or the side of my ankle if that happens. So I'm just going to go, as I'm going here, I'm just going to cut various sizes, and I'm going to add them to the transfer paper. So let's get started on that. Broadly speaking, I've got a couple different sizes here. I've got some small ones, I've got some large ones. I use the scissors to cut off the tape. Lots of people just tear it off. Once you get the technique down, it tears off pretty easily. I'm now going to cut this paper backing down to size. All right, so now we have individual pieces of Leukotape, a couple different sizes, and there are people who are much more ambitious than I am. When they lay the Leukotape out, they like to have it nice and straight. This works fine for me. If you do like to have it nice and neat, and really even more compact, you can even cut it down more exactly. Oh, there we go. We got a nice, neat piece of Leukotape right there. It is kind of a nice way to do it. You can see how compact that is. That size right there would probably be big enough for anytime I need to put a piece on the back of my heel. I want to show you briefly just how this goes on. It's actually pretty straightforward. I've already washed my hands. I'm going to use my hands rather than my feet. It's just easier for purposes of the video. I've already cleaned off the area. And all I do is assume there's a hot spot forming there. I just take this and I'm going to cover that spot. And because these are small, maybe I would need a second piece. Let me show you one thing, one important thing about that. Try to avoid things like this, where we have this gap here. Blisters are caused by friction, whether it's a pebble, sock, stitch in the shoe, a seam in the shoe rubbing against the skin, whether it's the skin layers like rubbing against each other, which you might have in a callus, or even with this, with these two separate pieces here, as you walk, they might start rubbing. You might get some friction and you might get a blister right there. So a better way to do it is just make sure you don't have any of these vacations here. Let me see if I can correct that. There, covered up, and now, and then smooth it out. As much can go, a little bit right there. And I've got this on. This is just Leukotape directly on my skin. This is going to last several days, even on my feet. And it's probably good to try this on your hand because some people are allergic to the adhesive that's on the tape. You can try a small piece on your hand. If you're allergic, there are different types of Leukotape. Kind of the standard, the flagship type is Leukotape P. If you're allergic, there's at least one other version that has a different adhesive on it. Now, because we're talking about feet, there's a lot of motion. Socks, shoes, and Leukotape as well is going to be put through a lot of work. And sometimes you want to make sure this stuff is on very securely, particularly if you're going to be on a longer trip. That's where you can get some tincture of benzoin. This can be used as an adhesive, and it's going to bond this Leukotape really well. This can also help toughen up the skin a bit around the area of a blister, so it does have that nice effect as well. You don't need much of this. I don't bring this whole bottle. I bring a tiny bottle. This has gone on a number of trips. I don't know how many it's been. I've only used a few drops. I'm going to use my right hand for this one. I've already cleaned this. And all I do with this is take it out. I'm going to just kind of go around the area. You might not be able to see it all that well. It's kind of light. If there's a blister there, I'd just be going around it. And I'm going to put the Leukotape over that. And if you spread tincture of benzoin around, put the Leukotape over it, that's going to stay in there. I mean, this, I had a piece on my foot a few trips ago. I finished the trip, even after taking a shower and scrubbing my feet, this didn't move. I had to peel it off. Be aware of that, though. If you have blisters with someplace, you have hair on your arms or on your feet or on your toes, the hair on your toes will fall out when you pull this off. It does go on securely and it won't move. So that's Leukotape. This is the preparation I do before I go. This is the application for it. And then I have, my trip. And honestly, 2 pieces would probably be more than enough for at least a single trip. A lot of trips I don't use any of it. So I just take my first aid kit. Tincture of benzoin goes in there. A couple pieces fit right in there. And this is the majority of my first aid kit right there. That is Leukotape for blister prevention, preparation for packing and putting in your pack, and application. Thanks for watching.